My name is Verna MacMillan. I live at East Lake Ainslie, and I've lived here since 1976.
And what brought you here?
I fell in love, of course. First time was to a fellow from North Lake Ainslie. We were married for 12 years, and then he died suddenly. And then I had two boys at that time. I brought them back here I wanted them to know their family around here. And then I met Peter MacMillan. And that was a fairy tale. It worked out good. We had almost 26 years together. Yeah. And we lived in a little farmhouse up the road. A big 200-acre lovely place for the kids to grow. Then we had one more boy after that.
What was it like when you first moved here? What was the place like?
Way back in the beginning, in 1962, it was over at North Lake. It was an old farmhouse and barns and all. They had one cow and one horse, and no water in and no toilet in the house. It was fun living there, really it was. I loved it. In the winter it was, the winter arrived. That was December the 18th, 1962. The train to Port Hastings, I guess is where it stopped, I'm not sure. And got off there and tried to get up here to North Lake. Everything was stopped running because they took the plows off and all. But luckily we found a fellow who was meeting his niece on the train, and he was from Inverness area, and we got a ride part way with him. But then we had to walk with our suitcases in snow to our waist. You don't know what it's like over at North Lake.
Were there people waiting for you, or just a house?
No, it was a house, and his mother and father. His father was in the hospital at the time, but his mother was living there. Yeah. So me with a short skirt on and little snow boots like that with a little heel on them. Broke the heel off on the way in. But you just push the suitcases and then take a few steps and push the suitcase. That's how we did it. And it was a long walk. It was a long go. By the time I got in there, my legs were just boiling red, beet red. So she got wool socks on me and got my feet in the oven, wood stove. She was sweet, yeah.
Where were you coming from?
Ontario, Ottawa.
And were you a city?
I was born in the country. No, I was born in the country, yeah. When I left home, we had water in the house, all right, but we didn't have an indoor bathroom. And when I went in training, yeah. But this was I eloped, came down here. It's quite an experience.
You're a rebel.
Yeah.
So he was from here.
Yeah.
He met you in Ottawa.
Yeah. Well, he actually worked for my father for a bit when I was about 14, so I knew him. And then one day I was coming home for the weekend, and I got off the bus in Kemptville, Ontario, and he was getting on to go back to Ottawa. And that's how we connected again. Yeah.
How soon after that do you elope?
I'd say about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy time.
And you've been here ever since?
No, actually, I came in 62. We were married in, where the church is here, the Presbyterian church. The house behind it, back in a bit, that was a manse, and the Presbyterian minister lived there, so Murdoch and I were married in that house. Yeah. And, okay, that was January. He had to get a marriage license, and because I was from out of the province, we had to wait 3 weeks. So January the 11th, we were married over there. And, I first had a miscarriage, ended up in the hospital a bit. Then I was expecting again, had a baby in December 23rd that year, and January, that would be 63, yeah. And he died Christmas Day, yeah, 3 days old. And then I was expecting again the next year, and I thought I was so afraid to have another child here. I didn't know, I didn't know why he died, So we moved back to Ontario, and we lived and worked there for 10 years. We were back often. It was good. I loved coming down here. Loved it. Anyways, that's. But when he died, we had planned to move back when we got kind of established, better. Anyway, so I brought the kids and came. Just packed up the car.
You stayed with the kids, and his parents were helping out? Or?
His mother was here, yeah. His father was dead then. Yeah. Oh no, Hugh. And Hugh's first wife was my husband's sister. So, yeah, no, Hugh and Florence were great. They helped me out a lot. And I bought a house in Inverness and started to work at the manor. And I wasn't there very long. Yeah, no, well, that was like May. And Florence called me, it was in November. That's Hugh's first wife, my sister-in-law. And she said, there's going to be a St. Andrew's dance at Scottsville Fire Hall. You really should go, and you haven't been out anywhere. And she coaxed me, and I finally said, okay. Then she called back, and she said, the tickets are all sold. Then she called back again, and she says, I found half a ticket. And this was Peter MacMillan. That was so funny. He goes, oh, God.
Ticket?
She said he always goes on his own. So I called, and he is not taking anybody. So, yeah, anyway, so next thing I know, he's rapping on the door in Inverness. And I said, oh, you want the money for half your ticket? And he said, no. He said, I'd be honored if you'd go with me. Oh, my goodness. So I bought this beautiful red dress, and I got a huge tartan sash. It's right to the floor. I felt like a princess at the dance what's it called again? St. Andrew's Day. And that's our first. That's my first meeting with Peter. And that was November 28th, and we were married January 11th. I just like.
How old were you then?
I was 32.
How old was he?
He was 49. Yeah. Yeah. DJ and Kathy stood with us. DJ McLean, Janice's father. Yeah.
And then you moved to get a farm near here, right?
It's 4 kilometers up the road to Headley, to East Lake, farther up. Yeah, and anyway, it was great. We had, like I said, we had another boy after that. My 3 boys were Peter was a wonderful father. Yeah, it was good. But he wasn't too well later on. That was hard, but the first 5 years after we were married, I was home with Alan, when Alan was born. But I started to work then at a group home in Inverness, MacDonald Hall. And I was there from 81 till, it's not 81, yeah, 81, 2006. When I was diagnosed with Hep C, and I was afraid I was going to give it to somebody. I was so scared. That was crazy. But I had another miracle. I got started on an antiviral treatment, and then I got clear of it. Like me. Yeah, Peter had died then. Peter died in 2001. So my youngest and my middle boy got married in the year after Peter died. That was 2002. Yeah, that kept me busy. And
Are they still around here?
Alan lives in Marion Bridge, the youngest, and the middle boy lives in Dartmouth. And he works in a group homes up there. He started off in L'Arche here. And he's always worked with people that needed. I'll never forget getting the phone call to say I had hepatitis C. Anyway, everything changes.
Yeah.
A lot of changes in my life. It just kept happening.
Yeah. How do you, How does it make you reflect on life?
I don't think you should ever give up. There's always something happens, and I used to call them miracles, but they are the things I got through and got over. I used to go after Peter died. I used to travel with Bea Tilsley, and not just her. My sister Eileen. We would go even when Peter was living. We'd travel to take trips to Ireland and Dominican. Stuff like that. I loved that. I loved the sun and the water. I loved to swim when I was a kid, and I still do. Anyway, after Peter died, Bea and I traveled more together. Her husband had died too, so we were two widows on the go. And we were in Cuba one day. First night there, got all dressed like we usually do. You get settled in, and then you have a shower and get dressed up, and we go out have a drink. So I was up at the bar getting us a drink, and there was a stool empty, and there was a guy on either side, and I said, "Are you saving this for somebody?" And the other fellow just kind of ignored me, but Albert on the left says, no, I'm here alone. And so then I sat down and had to wait the longest time for the drinks because it was a packed place. And anyway, and so I said, and there was a baseball game on, and I was watching that because I'm a baseball fan. And I said, "You like baseball?" And he says, "Well, no, but I like football. Football's my game," he said, meaning soccer. That's what we call it. He's from England, and he had been there a week already. Yeah. No, he just arrived too because he stayed a week after we left, yeah. Anyway, that's how I met him, and then I ended up marrying him two years later.
Did he come here?
Yep. I was married 3 times at East Lake Ainslie.
Pull it out.
Robbie,
How long did you live with him?
we were married for almost 12 years, yeah.
He just passed recently.
In March, a year ago, March.
So,
Yeah. I didn't want to get married again, but he really wanted to, and I realized that he wouldn't have been able to come to stay in Canada if we didn't marry. So I didn't change my name again. I was a Smith, then I was a MacMillan, and then I married another Smith, and I wasn't going to change my name.
another Smith.
Yeah. So in between times, like when 5 years I wasn't working, I started doing all kinds of crafts, anything you could think of. I learned to knit and crochet, and not to weave then, but Hugh's first wife, Florence, and I went to Bedeck to learn how to weave. Joan Sutherland, our minister's wife, kept coaxing us to go. "Oh, you'll love it. You got to come. You got to come." And year after year, she'd be at us. Finally, we gave in and we went with her. Oh, and we were hooked on it just from the first. It's amazing. It's amazing. Weaving, creating, and because you can make your own, and I love making new designs, and make your own, but I don't know, stamp on it. Yeah, but it's great.
I heard you were behind the tartan.
I did. Shortly about a year and after I learned to weave, I wove tartan for the first time, because first you learn how to do twill, and then you make a twill project, and a twill project can be tartan because it's all in. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so I learned that, and oh my goodness, yeah, I thought Lake Ainslie should have a tartan. So yeah, so I went. Yeah.
How did you?
Well,
you need tartan. What's the next step?
Well, because then I thought, well, you have to choose the colors, so. I know it was like I do all things fast and in a few days, but I kept the book for a long time, the Scribbler, where I decided the colors, and then I tried to think of the order and drew out the pattern, what it would look like, and that would be like, yeah, okay. So then Vince, my youngest, my middle boy, and Alan and I went to Port Hawkesbury to buy the yarn to match the pattern. And on the way up, I said, it'd be nice if we had a rhyme to go with this, to explain the colors, and I said, Vince, you got to write it down. We'll decide. So I'm driving. That's how it came about, making the rhyme to go with the colors. It was good.
What's the right?
Oh my God, red for the, what is it? I wish I could remember it. If I have the cards around, I could get one for you.
We can take a break later and you can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. But I'd like to, let's go back to that later if you think it's around here. I'd love to see it too.
The tartan?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll grab it. And, if at any point in this interview the rhyme comes back, you just tell me.
Well, I had green for the hills. Yeah. Green for the trees, and blue, of course, for the water. Yellow and red together, because that was the sun rising, and so I made the design so that the blue was in the middle, and then the red and yellow were on either side. It was the sun rising and sun setting on the lake, and then the hills in the background. That was my idea for the for the colors and why. Yeah.
It got picked up.
It did.
And officially recognized.
Yeah, Historical Society kind of sponsored me, said they approved it, and it's registered in Scotland, yeah. So then, a few years later, our Weavers Guild, I don't know where the idea came from, but they were sponsoring a competition for an Inverness County tartan. Oh, and I liked that, so I got busy and did it the same way, thought about the colors and and then made the rhyme to go with it. And it's really quite nice. And I won $1,000 for doing that. Yeah, it was nice.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've definitely seen some of those tartans. I'll keep an eye out for the Inverness one, yeah.
Inverness County, yeah.
And you played, you have MacMillan one there?
Oh, yeah. I used to have tartan everywhere. I moved. Everything has gone crazy in my life.
It's a new place.
Yeah.
It's great, and people seem to really love it. You really enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's good.
Nice views. You get view in every direction.
Yeah, and yeah. So that's those are the two big things I did. But I started, Florence and I really took to the weaving, and then would it be nice if we could have weaving here? So the school at Scottsville was closed for teaching or for classrooms, but it was used as a resource center for the teachers. All kinds of material for them to come and get it and take it to their classroom. And I got permission for us to put some looms in there and start some weaving. So, yeah, that was the beginning of the Lake Ainslie Weavers and Craft Guild. And I've been 40 years at it.
And what activities do you do there?
Oh, everything. We did and I was the program coordinator for a long time. And I guess I still am now. Kind of, Cape Breton Centre of Craft and Design is kind of trying to help us, but and so they have their own way of doing things, and I didn't think. But anyway, now I'm back to being the program coordinator. So I do the plan for every year's activities for Celtic Colours and line it up for the days. We have something there going every day, and it's grand. It's just really grand. I love the people are loving it, and I love the people that are coming in. I'm so proud of this place. It's beautiful. Yeah. And yeah, so we had weaving. That was the big thing at the first. And we were the Lake Ainslie Weavers Guild. And then we just started branching out and doing other things. So we decided now it's the Lake Ainslie Weavers and Craft Guild. Yeah, but now Cape Breton Centre of Craft and Design is wanting us to go back and just call it Scottsville School of Crafts. So that's probably the way it'll be. But it's been great. And yeah, if you could mention anything, I'll tell you if we did it there. like square dancing, step dancing, um, crocheting, painting, sheep. We did sheep to shawl there. We had the process of the wool outside. We did it outside of the lawn. Barry Fraser sheared the sheep for us. Yeah, and then we had the fleece in the tub washing it, and then people carding and spinning and so on, and the whole process was done outside. All our members were doing something, it's great. Yeah, I guess I should have pulled out a few of the lists of all the things we do.
That's okay. Yeah. How important is creativity in your life now compared to when you were younger?
I didn't have time when I was younger. I was working on the kids. After I married Peter, I had time. Time is the big thing that allows you to do these things. Yeah. Or you want to do things rather than sit still. Yeah. It's still very important. I love the school down there, and I want it to continue. It's been great. It's been great for so many people. I've had a chance to try different things there, and yeah. Well, Pauline's daughter was one of our early students, right? Mm-hmm. April. She's really producing now, lots of weaving and selling it. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah. And Kim works up there. I don't know if Kim does weaving or not, but we had a lot of young ones over the years, and they still remember all this, And now we do demonstrations when people come in. There are looms set up, so you can try it, see what it feels like to weave, and it's really inspiring. I know it is, because they're loving it, and I love just doing it, showing it. Yeah, but go ahead.
How often do you weave?
Weave now? I haven't done any for, I suppose 6 months or more now, because then I started a group during COVID. I did weaving during COVID, but you had to be down there alone. And we had this project on the go where we had to all weave 20 pieces of a pattern. But anyway, I finally did that. I found that very tedious. But then during COVID, we started a quilters get together. And I wasn't very good at quilting, but I loved the idea of how it's done and keeping it going. And we had the quilting frame there, and it was just going to waste up in the corner. Anyway, we got it up, and I got somebody to show me how to get it on. I had made a quilt for Hannah, my granddaughter, when she was 2, and now she's 22. But there was a long time in between. I just knew I liked doing it then too. Same thing though, I had a one-room schoolhouse.
Right.
Yeah.
In where you came from?
In Merrickville, Ontario, yeah. Right. With a big stove in the middle, and your face would be red this side, so you got to turn, sometimes she'd let you turn your seat around, because they were kind of separate.
Too hot.
Yeah. I skipped to grade 8. So I went and I was very young then, going into high school, into grade 9. And I think that always kind of held me, well, I'm more social now, but I was very, very shy when I was a kid. Very, very shy.
Skipping
Yeah.
grade was a part of that?
I think so, yeah.
That would be disorienting, suddenly around kids a year old. That's a big difference at that age.
Oh, yeah, and it was a not city, but a big town. We were bused to. No, I felt really out of place. In fact, I didn't even go to my graduation. I just went down to the office and picked up the certificate. After it was over, it was just, I didn't have anything to wear. We were very poor, yeah. Yeah. Maybe that makes me appreciate more things. Not having had an abundance, Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway,
you said you always loved coming here, and the second your first husband died, you moved here. So what was in the early days, like those, before?
Well, it's 10 years there. We were back and forth every summer, and sometimes in between, because there was always somebody dying in the family. Rick's brother and his father. Oh, I guess it was just the 2 funerals. Yeah.
What was the spark? Like, what was the joy that made you want to? What did you want to come back for?
I don't understand, but it's still here. It's still what I want. That's why I'm here. And I have family living in Ontario, and they think I should be back there, but I don't. I don't like it there anymore. I did up until this year. I haven't gone back yet, but I have gone almost every year. Made a trip back to Ontario, and I go around to see all my. But last year, 3 of my family died. A sister in January, a brother in April, and another sister in June, and my husband in between in March. It was like crazy, knockout year. Yeah. Anyway, I'm here. You can't put me down.
Yeah. No,
crazy. Yeah.
What's the community like here now? How do you? I know you're saying, how do you? The guild is a big part of a community of yours. Are you still part of? Are you part of a church? Are you part of?
Yeah, and I call them a church now. Our little church closed. That was a big thing too. That's another death, like. Wow. Yeah. But anyway, everybody misses that part, and so some of the people now go to Inverness. But anyway, I go to Waikaga, and we just got a new minister there, and I think I talked her into coming to quilting. Tried anyway.
Good.
I was part of the community in lots of ways here. Like I was on the Historical Society. I was president of that for a long time, and I was in the fire department auxiliary when they had one. They have no official one now, but we used to have meetings, yeah. I remember Lula MacDonald and Mary Sarah McDougall. They didn't pull very good, and I remember one time Mary Sarah was starting to say, and Lula was president, she hit the table with her, she said, "Sit down and shut up." That's so funny. Is it any wonder we didn't last? Lula, they were great people, though. They really were. But Lula wouldn't settle for any nonsense out of talking during a meeting.
Yeah. Good chair.
Yeah. What else? I was president of the UCW for a while, quite a while. That's the United Church Women. Yeah.
Yeah, my grandmother was part of that.
Yeah.
Picked up.
Seemed to be more. That occupied a lot of evenings for sure, for meetings, especially.
Historical Society, like I said, that's what I'm here for. Like the McDonald House. And we talk about the McDonald House. Like, what do you remember about the house when you first, like, the first people that lived there, and what's become of it over the last few decades?
Well, see, it was vacant when I came here, but that's the year the Historical Society was formed, I think, because Peter was in on that. My husband Peter and me, I guess, on the organization of it. Yeah.
It was
Peter's father. They used to say he could walk on water. He was the first man on the ice in the spring, and the last one off, the first one on in the fall, the first ice, and he'd be going, because they used to make curds and butter and go and sell it in Inverness. He'd take it across the ice to Inverness to sell. Oh yeah, because there was no plows on the roads or anything like that. Like when I first was here back in the 60s, the road wasn't paved. It was muddy. Oh. And you were always pushing the car. You were always stuck in the mud, You couldn't slow down. Oh, if you're meeting somebody, you had to slow down, and that's the time you could get stuck. Oh. So I'm in labor in the hospital, my first baby that died there. But the one thing I do remember, the doctor saying, okay, it's time to push. And I said, well, if there's anything I learned here, it was how to push. It was like, they told me afterwards, I guess it was probably because of the drugs I was on that was making me talk like that. But
that's a joke you actually said. You actually said that in the hospital. Oh my god, that must have made them all laugh.
That's why they told me after.
You probably pushed the car the way you get there.
Yeah. I'm not so many nice people here. The people, the community, I love it. The ones I worked with at the hospital in the operating room, man, it was nice. My favorite job in my life, I worked in the operating room.
What do you do?
I was just assisting in surgeries, you know. First time I fainted, but anyway. When I came here, I came from nursing program. I had at the Ottawa Civic, and I was 2 years in. I quit, and I didn't have anything then. But I went to St. Mary's Hospital, and I had my records of what I had learned, you know. And they saw that I had my OR experience was all done. You do it in pockets of this and that. So that's why I got hired there. And Sister Anastel and Joe Vanetti, those were my bosses up on the top floor of St. Mary's Hospital. They were wonderful to me, and it was the best job. So exciting every time. Everything's different, no repetitious stuff. I wouldn't be any good for working in a factory because I like change,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of problem solving.
That's fun.
You said you love the people here. Can you tell me more about it? Like what makes this different than other places you've been?
Well, I guess I know them, a lot of them, but they treated me well, There's always what is it called? They're from away. You'll hear that once in a while, but I never got that, thank you. But thank goodness, because I never felt like I was from away. I just felt like I was part of it right from the beginning, yeah. The ones I worked with everywhere, I had great friends. They're gone now, some of them. Yeah, but I have a lot of friends. It's not the same without the close ones that are gone. I miss them badly, and I used to be on the phone to my families in Ontario, almost at least once a week to each of them, and they're not there anymore.
Yeah, a lot of loss lately. That's a lot.
But I still have one brother and one sister. I think my brother's coming down. He likes it here too. He'd like to live here, and I know he would. I'd like him too, but I don't know if he'd be content because he has friends there now too.
Yeah, the first winter you were here.
Okay, we arrived at that awful snowfall, so on, and got up to the house, got my legs warmed up in the oven, then I had a good sleep, and the next day Murdoch's father and mother had a car, so we were going to Inverness to go and see the father and take my shoe to get it, because I broke the heel on it in the snow that day. So Evelyn, Murdoch's mother, always met the mail driver and took the mail by horseback down to Verna MacMillan, which was, it's just, have you seen the Ainslie Point? Have you seen that road? Used to be called Blaze Road. Yeah, and in at the top of the Blaze Road, the road split, and it went up to the Smiths and over to Feeney's, and the other way went to Ray McGuinness. And now what was I going to tell you? Yeah, so that's what she did. She would meet the mail driver at the end of the road, take the mail bag to the post office over at Feeney's. She was the postmistress. So, all right, we're in Inverness, and sitting, waiting while Murdoch's gone in to get the shoe fixed. And all of a sudden a white van was coming, and Evelyn says, "That's the mail driver. If I get the bag now, I don't have to go down the end of the road to meet him." She ran across and she got hit by this van. It wasn't the mail driver. Thrown into a snowbank. We got her up to the hospital. And anyway, and I ran out of the car and with one boot on. And so somebody went in and told my husband that I was hit by the car. It was really the strangest thing. This is my first day here. Anyway, he came with my boot on, and we got Evelyn out of the snowbank, and she says, "I'm all right." And I said, "You really, really should get checked out, you know." So yeah, they did keep her in. She was really bruised, you know, but she was, I wish I could remember how old she was then, but very active woman anyway.
She threw herself in front of the van?
Well, she ran in front of it thinking he'd see her and stop, you know, because he was the Peter McKay from Scottsville.
Yeah.
So, all right, so she's in the hospital, but the mail still has to go, right? So we didn't get it that day, but the next day I said, "I'll do it." So I'm going down to meet the mail out to the end of the Blaze Road.
On horse?
On horse. And just before I got to the end of the road, a snowplow went by, and the horse took off back. And it was all I could do to hold on. And I held on. Right? But she was almost back at the crossroads. And I'm trembling like a leaf. And no saddle. It was like, oh, I was... Anyway, I got her back out and waited for the mail driver and got the bag and I went to Feme's on that. And I don't know how I did it, but I did it. So the next day I'm doing it. There was a thaw, you know, so there. And same thing, I got the mail bag and I was back into the crossroads and going down to Feme's. And that road wasn't ever plowed. Only the Blaze Road was plowed. So all of a sudden the horse's foot went through the ice in a spot, and I went over her head, and I could up, and she's holding her foot up over me. It was like, really, that's another little miracle. I'm telling you, I lived through a lot of that.
Wow.
And then the worst thing was to try and get on the horse again, because I used to use the fence, you know, to get but I found a stump or something and got up. Yeah, that was funny. I had to tell you that was
That's
good.
your first week.
Is it any wonder I like it here? Imagine.
Wow.
I was brought up on a farm. You know, we had horses, a team of horses, Prince and Nellie, and I was used to riding horseback a bit. We used to take them now and again, just for fun.
That's amazing. Any other stories from that era you want to share?
Well, that first week was something else, eh?
Yeah. You ended up living in that house with his mother for a while?
Yeah, we did.
And your husband's name was Murdoch?
Murdoch.
Murdoch.
Murdoch, yeah. Murdoch Gordon MacLeod Smith. Gordon MacLeod was a famous doctor around here. He was named after him. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else that happened? Oh, after the big snowstorm, of course, you had the well was down, like, it wasn't uphill. Well, kind of, from the house. Maybe over a hill. Anyway, I had to shovel a path to the well once, and then it's filled in. The well was down, you know. So then I had to shovel that out. And I didn't have to. I did it because I wanted to help her out, you know, and so, anyway, and then get a pail of water and take it to the house. Yeah. I didn't mind any of that stuff. I just loved it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The house used to get pretty cold, though. I remember we got enough money together to buy a warm morning stove. Have you ever heard of that? Got it in the living room, and you could put it's called a warm morning, because if you put a block of wood in and turned it down or something, it would still be heat in the morning.
Okay.
Easy to start up, you know.
Yeah.
But it seemed to me it was a tall. It's a long time ago, though. Yeah. When we come home like that, I remember when we came home. And I just had the one boy then, Rob, and Hugh had a boy, And I took them for rides on the horse in at North Lake, in at the point. Yeah. 'Cause I was back in the saddle again.
Yeah.
Back doing what I like.
Sounds like quite an adventure you had.
Yeah.
And when you lived with Peter, what was that farm like?
Well, he did have animals first, yes, he did have cows. I didn't have much to do with them. No horses. Yeah. Robbie would be helping me with the chores. Yeah. His mother lived with us. His mother was Brett MacMillan. Brett Albin, everybody called her Albin. Yeah. She was stern. She didn't, I think she thought she was going to have Peter for herself for the rest of his life, And I was unexpected by everybody.
Peter never married?
He had not been married, no. But we had a great relationship. It was wonderful. It really was. I still think of them. Even when we weren't well, I don't know if you ever hear that song, Lucy McNeil sings it. Something about the radio waltz. It's an old radio in the kitchen. Anyway, we used to have the radio on to CJFX in in Antigonish all the time. And if a song came on the radio, sometimes it was just usually just the two of us there, we'd just do a little waltz around the kitchen just for fun. I remember that, and that song brings it all back. It's a
Lucy McNeil song?
Yeah.
Called Radio Waltz?
Yeah. It's pretty beautiful.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. I just happened to hear it on CBC radio one morning. It was little things happen to you, and it'll bring back something that has so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've had some great loves in your life, and
I have.
met some amazing people.
Yeah. So Albert was in the British Merchant Navy.
This is the man you met in.
Yeah, and he was he liked it here too. He loved it, and he got to know a lot of the people, especially Michael Gillis. He wasn't good at remembering names, but he always remembered Michael. And he was, he was on those convoy ships, taking food and getting shot at.
World War II.
He was sunk, several times. Yeah. They used to say he got his feet wet 3 times.
Wow.
Not really. They abandoned ship, but yeah.
Yeah, those. I lived in this place near Halifax where the bases are still, the guns are still there, trying to protect those convoys. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if you ever heard about the Scharnos. That was the big German. Used to sink so many of the convoy ships, and he was on the team that they were headed for Russia. They were with supplies, and they were used as bait to get the Scharnos out of a harbor, and then the other big British, what were they called? The big ships with the guns. They were battleships. Were waiting for him. Yeah.
The Scharno.
Scharnos. Yeah.
Scharno, is it one boat or is it?
SCHR. It's a German word. Scharnos.
Okay.
SCHARN. Not sure after
Is
that.
the name of a singular boat?
Yep.
Oh, it was like a feared battleship.
Yep.
And he was part of he was a bait to.
He was part of it, yeah.
To get it out.
And he said he said he remembers the guy came on. What was he called? The admiral. He had his name. He said he came on the ship, and there were 3 of them. He got on each ship and made the speech to the crews, saying, "Don't worry, we're going to be there. This is, you're doing a big part for your country and all this stuff." Yeah, and they did. They did what they said they'd do. Yeah.
Wow.
But there were thousands died on that Scharnos. I think 9 men they saved. Yeah. something like that.
So when you met him in the Dominican, he ended up
In
Canada.
Cuba.
Cuba, right.
Yeah. And he'd gone to Cuba quite often. Yeah, on trips, on trips, all by himself. And that's after his wife died. He traveled a lot. Just that's how he handled his grief and stuff. Yeah. He had 2 daughters. He still has one daughter living in England, and I'm still in contact with them. And his granddaughter comes here. She's coming again in the fall. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's nice. She's a lovely girl. Yeah. So yeah, I've had it good. I've had it bad, but I've had a lot of good.
Yeah, you definitely have. That was
Yeah.
lovely. Anything else you want to share, or we can wrap up? Whatever you like.
Yeah, I guess better.